Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at the final book in this Hell Song, of this Blood Song trilogy, led and so forth. Death Riders of Hel, Warrior Witch of Hel, and Werebeasts of Hel, the third and final book. This one's 250 pages long, and such. I tried to find it online, and I wasn't able to find it to buy from Amazon. Just like the first one, I had to go to eBay to buy these and such, because although they are on Kindle, so I'll link you to the final. It's 250 pages long. I figured I was probably going to read 5 days of 50 pages each, but the first day I did like 58, which finished chapters and such, and I figured, well, since I did 58 on the first day, I figured, why not just go ahead and do a 60 day and 70 the last day and such. So I did 60 plus the next couple of days, and finished it out last night with about 50 pages left, after knocking it out about 70 pages plus on Saturday night, when I don't have a whole lot of stuff to do other than gaming and watching SNL later that night for folks. So I knocked this out in 4 days rather than 5 that I was planning to knock it out. It was definitely good. It was probably all told about 7 or 8 hours for me to knock it out total and such. It's a little bit less than the previous book, the middle book, 263 pages. The first book was just 218 pages long, so the whole trilogy just won't take that much of your time for you to knock out for you folks. This is written by Asa Drake, and that is a pseudonym for C. Dean Anderson for folks, just as an FYI. I came across him in a short story collection by characters in the Eternal Champion series, published in 1996, which is 10 years later for this 86 novel. And then I he was my favorite short story that I've read so far. I got about 3 or 4 short stories left. Called The War Skull of Hel, which is set in this world and such. So I liked it so much, I figured I'd check it out. I picked up the first book from eBay. It was on for sale, and then I picked up the other 2 very quickly because I was liking it, and it was very good. I like this a lot, actually. If you'll recall, the first novel I gave a 7.2, the middle novel a 7.5, and I think they really stuck the landing well. My only major issue is that I wish the major battle would have had a longer, like maybe a few chapters or something like that and such, but I feel like he stuck the landing, got an 8 and such out of this final one for you folks. I definitely liked it a lot, and definitely thought that it was pretty good stuff for you folks. And again, this sort of stuff is the kind of the idea of the channel, where it comes from, right? Channel's name, after all, is The Worst Thing About New Books, which is a quote by a French philosopher named Jacques Joubert in the 19th century. And he said in a novel in a book he wrote, that the worst thing about new books was that they kept us from reading the old ones, right? And so older books like this that are from the 80s, mid-80s in this case, are decades and decades ago, that we've forgotten about, we can't even find in print, right? In places like Amazon and such, used. We had to find it on older places like eBay and stuff like that, in order to find this stuff, right? So it's pretty good stuff, right? So I liked it. I thought it was good stuff, and this is the idea, the kind of things that we're unpacking. Now, this is, as a reminder, set in Norse mythology world, and so there's a lot of characters, but it's really more of a sword and sorcery, like many of the characters that we come across doubt the gods and many of the stories and the characters and the people that they're running into for you folks. So my favorite character from the first novel actually isn't Bloodsong. It's a slave named Jaffna. My second favorite character in the second book is a new point of view character, Bloodsong's daughter Gudrun, and then in the third novel, it's a character that's introduced late in the second novel named Ulfeldare, and then she's pretty cool too. I like her a lot. So those are my 3 favorite characters from the 3 novels for you folks. But again, this is a fantasy, but it's definitely a lower tech fantasy with lesser. I mean, there are witches, and there's like a witch in the party early on, so you'll know that it's such. And of course, it's set in gods and stuff like that. But it's really more of a low tech kind of thing. And again, people don't really believe a lot of these sort of exotic things are actually true that they've heard about from their stories and so forth. Even our main characters. So that's kind of cool. So that's kind of what I would consider this more of a low fantasy setting, if you will, in the Norse mythology, with gods like Odin and Hel, the main character, who's the main antagonist. So I don't give my review spoilers as a reminder, and to give you caught up with what happened with the first couple of novels. For the first couple of chapters in novel number 3, I can't really do a deep dive. I would consider this really more for a mature audience of adults rather than more like kids. There is the occasional sex scene, not that much, and so forth. It's not that deep, and so forth in this trilogy. But so I would consider this probably more for mature adults. I think that Asa / C. Dean Anderson was writing for more of a mature audience and so forth, or mature high school people. Maybe if you've read it and thought that this was something that they can handle. But I wouldn't recommend this for younger people, and so forth, and not for even mature adults without adult teens and such, maybe people are 18, 19, without actually having read it and such, or being familiar with the material, and then saying, yeah, I think it's fun for them, and so forth. But there you are. That is the trilogy's finale. Werebeasts of Hel. I think he really stuck the landing on this. Good job. So there you are. Have you read this? If so, what did you think about it? Did you agree or disagree with my 8 out of 10? Which we'll talk about more in the comments, or we want to talk about spoilers, put in spoiler tags so people won't be, such. So that's kind of cool. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Now, if you like this, why not hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit the bell when you get reminded of the 3 things, and more importantly, share this with your friends, because people are really doing the YouTube stuff, but the channel isn't really growing that much. I don't get any money from this, but it's nice for folks to get something that's fast, and so for three times a week and such. So there, finally, I just want to pause and thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing it and watching my video, because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions, right? So the fact that you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.